Hello. I was asked by one of my followers to create a video based upon something I posted yesterday, but it's sort of left Instagram live and now it's not available. And I told her that I would try to recreate it for her. So I'm going to do that. Basically, this is a video that's sort of an inside look at one of the one-on-one sessions I did with people. I love doing one-on-one sessions. I don't even care about, unless you want to, I don't even care about people, working with me for 3 months or anything like that. I don't make anybody commit to anything, but I love just working with people for an hour or two and coming up with ways to make their life better. And yesterday I had a really good session. So I'm going to let you in on what we did. Basically, we started talking about the new year and how we have trouble with resolutions. I hate New Year's resolutions. I am always disappointing myself. And so I tend to not make them. And I decided it might be easier to make a list of things that I maybe would not do instead of saying I was going to do X, Y, and Z and then not doing that. So I thought this might work better. And she and I just went off on this like hour and a half tangent about things we're not going to do in the new year. So that's what this is. This is the inside look at yesterday's session. First thing, we are going to stop saying yes to things we don't want to do. ADHD women can be like people pleasers, right? Yes, I'm drinking coffee. We can be people pleasers. And when we try really hard to please everyone, we end up saying yes to things we don't really want to do. Volunteering at book fairs, hosting parties for kids, or I don't know. I can't even think of all the examples, but we end up being yes people pleasers. We're going to stop doing that. I know you can't just flip a switch and stop overnight, but let's try to say yes, maybe one time less per week in the new year. Let's do it. Number 2, we're going to stop dwelling on and feeling guilty about past mistakes. We ruminate, right? A lot of us have anxiety, and part of anxiety is rumination. And we tend to ruminate about things in the past, and we can't really change any of it. So we're going to work on catching ourselves when we get in this pattern of thinking about past mistakes, and we're going to try to do it less. We're going to reframe some of that. The third thing is we're not going to work so hard to make other people happy. This falls into the people pleasing, but sometimes I think we overcompensate because I think we feel, maybe it's rejection sensitive dysphoria, but we feel like we're being judged or being held to a different standard, or maybe we've let people down in the past and we overcompensate. We work really hard to make other people happy, and then we are unhappy. So we're going to try to work on that as well. This is a big one, this fourth one. Judging people in our heads. This is the problem with judging others, even people that are like non-believers and sort of come at you about ADHD. When we start to judge someone in our head, I think personally, it's because they're kind of freaking us out because we're seeing a part of ourselves in them. And they're judging us and we're judging them. And it's just round and round we go, right? It's just not productive. So we're going to work on our own judgment of others and maybe even of ourselves. This is a big one. And this is an issue for all of us, whether we admit it or not. We're going to stop comparing ourselves so much to other women. Women come in all shapes and sizes and colors, right? And I don't know what it is, but women, ADHD women even, maybe even more, we compare ourselves to other mothers, other women. It's a thing. It's a thing. And I know, again, we can't flip a switch. It's not just going to go away. But this is one of the things we're going to work on. We're going to stop comparing ourselves to other women and mothers. Feeling rejected, even when you haven't actually been rejected. So the next time you get an email after the first of the year and you can't quite gauge the tone of it, instead of getting upset and sitting and turning it around and around in your mind, you're just going to move on to the next email. You might even want to delete it. I am really good at deleting emails, especially if I can't sense the tone. I don't know. Trust me when I tell you, you're not always being rejected. I mean, I know we think that sometimes, but a lot of the time it's in our head. It's like this negativity bias, right? Let's work on that too. Okay, the last one, and this is huge. And again, this takes work. This doesn't just happen. We're going to stop being quiet when we need to speak up. So when someone says something to you that is just offensive or insulting, I'm not saying you have to, go crazy and freak out on them, but instead, why not just speak your truth? Like say, when you say things like that, it's really hurtful to me. Just let's practice using our voices, because I think as women, we tend to stifle the voice sometimes. And it's okay to take up space in the world. It's okay to have a voice. And we have to keep repeating that to ourselves. That should be our mantra. It's okay to take up space in the world. It's okay to have a voice, even with ADHD. So anyway, this list came about after about 70, 80 minutes of conversation with a private client yesterday. And we just had the best time coming up with it. It was therapeutic, just making this list of things we're not going to do in the new year. So I encourage you to you can use some of mine, but create your own list of things you're not doing in the new year. It feels great, I swear. Thanks for watching. How do I turn this off?